I made my family day. Hey, everybody. Welcome into the Warzone Sports Network. I am your host of Mock Draft Monday here on the Warzone Sports Network. My name is Tony Tucker. I am joined by Joseph Morley, Mike on the mic. Little wild hands going there. And we got a ton of excellent drafters who are getting ready for the fantasy football season. Some you might qualify as an expert. Others you just might consider fantasy enthusiasts, nuts, whatever you want to call them, but they're all here ready to draft. We got people announcing their positions. I see 7 is in the house. Krusty Fantasy. Oh, we got another person joining the stream here. Dalton, go ahead, give the plugs. Where can the people find you, my friend?
First off, Tony, Joe, Mike, thank you guys for having me. I'm super excited to be here tonight. I'm Dalton from the Up for Debate podcast, guys. You can find me on TikTok. I've been trying to run that world and also our YouTube channel, Up for Debate podcast as well. But wanted to thank you guys for having me. I'm unfortunately representing the Philadelphia Eagles today. I had to wear my Miles Sanders jersey. Hopefully a good sleeper pick.
Worst team in the league.
Bye,
I gave
Dalton,
you a
bye.
compliment about the Raiders.
Worst team in the league, and that's coming from me.
If you're looking for reciprocation on comments from Joe, you're going to be waiting for a long time. Joe's friendly but angry.
We just got a bunch.
We got a lot of hate built up, Tony.
Here on the Warzone Sports Network, we pride ourselves on bringing people on that are fans of shitty teams, but talk like we're experts and like we know what we're doing, even though we cannot even pick the right team to root for.
Yeah, it's I always say
Alex,
unfortunately I was born into it.
Oh, and the draft has kicked off. Welcome to
has
Mock
to.
Draft Monday, everybody.
Alex, well,
Robson.
send me a link, but you can't even pick your first pick, Alex. Come on.
If Alex does not make his pick and he goes on auto draft, last week I keyed his car when he went on auto draft. This week I'm gonna untie his shoes and tie them together so he just trips and falls on his face. There we go. Christian McCaffrey goes off the board first.
You're lucky, Robson.
You got lucky this time, Robson.
Yeah, Robson, you got lucky right there. Whatever they say.
CMC. I'm excited to see when people start taking Delvin Cook ahead of CMC, right? Like, when is that? That's got to go the other way at some point. Like, CMC feels like the sort of consensus, safe number one, but when does the hype on the Vikings really get rolling? Oh, Joe Morley.
Wow.
This is
We'll change it up a little bit. We'll test the waters a little bit.
such a Joe Morley thing to do. That was my selection, Joe, at 4. So thank you for that.
I know who you're going to.
Let's see.
All right. 44 seconds. Yeah, I like where I'm interested to see 7. We got 7 o'clock here from the Fantasy Football Boot Camp. He's at 9. That's an interesting pick and see what he does there, because I know he's always trying out different kinds of strategies. Easy money. Easy money coming in. Is
Patrick
this 6
Mahomes?
points per passing touchdown?
This is what happens when we let people in that don't know how to draft. You don't take a quarterback in the first round. Easy money. This is why I win my league every year. Thank you.
Yeah,
No.
is he in your league?
So how do I actually select
He was
the player?
until he
Because
took
all I
that
have
pick.
is like a
Now
timer.
All you have is so you should see your board below. If you're on, so you can't select it on the computer screen. You're gonna have to draft from your phone.
Ooh, 36 seconds. Let's see if I can make it.
Mike, can you get Alex a link to come in here?
Yeah, I will. Alex, you want to come on the show?
Robson, you're in like 6 chats.
Easy money is trash. He's gonna choke. Yeah, he's already showed it. He took Patrick Mahomes. What was that? 5th overall pick.
Here's the thing, easy money. I, you know what? If you're going to be in a draft, get the players you want to get. What's wrong with having a team that you're happy with? I would assume easy money's going to reach on somebody in the second round too.
Even in a fake draft, he sucked.
Yeah.
You got it?
I got it. That
We
was
should
my
have done
pick.
a countdown. We should have been counting down on here.
Easy money helped out a lot of people. You don't normally see a quarterback go. This is the first mock draft, I think, this is our 9th one in a row, right? Tony, 9th one that we're doing. And this is the first time it wasn't like 8 running backs in a row.
Yeah, I think that did change things for 7 right there. We'll see what it does for the football therapist because he's on the clock. This is what I expected. We're starting to see this trend really happen, where it's Kelsey or Waller maybe going right there at 10, and we're seeing more. Why can't I see the full board? Why can't I see who's at? Oh, do we only have 12, 11 people? That'd be a weird fantasy league. Why can't I see number 12?
12? I think Mike. You don't need me to pull it up. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, somebody. There we go. Scrolling. Oh, I was wondering if Piggy was in the draft or not, and he's getting his boy Cam Akers. There we go, Joe. He scaled it down, and now
except for Superflex, you don't take a quarterback unless it's a 2-quarterback lead. Thanks for the panic trays, easy money. I don't like Chubb at 107. Okay, we've been getting Chubb questions a lot. Like people don't like Chubb anywhere, and that's the sad thing.
I don't really
easy
understand.
Money is like giving money away. Yeah.
Wasn't Chubb like one of the top backs in fantasy before and after the injury? Like why do we not like him so much? I'm hearing that a lot.
I love him. I assumed it was between Saquon and Chubb for me, and I was like, I kind of like Chubb. I feel like he's the more reliable pick. I don't know. Saquon injury, no ill will against him. Love him, but just the safer pick I feel like is Chubb.
Yeah, I like it that because we know what Cleveland does. We know they're going to run the ball a lot. I know he's going to get at least 20 carries, and this idea that he's not involved in the passing game, he actually absolutely is, because you can't just bring in Kareem Hunt and have it be sort of like standard what they're going to do. Like, oh, we know they're going to pass with him on the field and run with him. You have to get him at least some targets every game. And why not try and get him in space? Like get him out on the outside.
This guy loves his
targets. Yeah, and Krusty, I like where Krusty's draft is headed after 2 picks. It's a very solid 1-2 combo right there. Therapist following up with
the running
Gibson.
back by committee argument, because every running back is in a committee now. Every running back.
You know who's not in the committee that should be in a committee?
Who?
Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler's not in a committee that should be in a committee because he's going to get hurt, and I'm scared.
Yeah, he makes himself in a committee every time he gets hurt. James Robinson is in a committee.
Yes, he is.
So can I ask you guys something? Do these colors, when you draft somebody, mean something? Like, is that like an okay pick is blue, a bad pick is red, a good pick is green, or
position? Yeah, if you get red, that means horrible.
Especially if you draft red in the first round. I think pink is quarterbacks, green is running backs, blue is receivers, orange is tight ends. I think the point of it is so you can look at the board after and see patterns if you want.
Okay.
So you can see
like, you already took a quarterback. Who you taking?
Like 6 tight ends went in the 6th round. Maybe that's where we should be taking tight ends. Keenan Allen with the 2nd pick.
Charger fans doing some crazy things here.
He's a Chargers fan?
Yes, he is.
Oh, man, now I like it.
Yeah, well, now I'm even more confused that he would take Patrick. He loves Patrick Mahomes enough to take him in the first round, and he's a Chargers fan.
Here you go, Mike. See this comment? You're going to love that one.
Eckler in the 2nd? Yeah, I'm cool with Eckler in the 2nd. I am scared of Eckler in the 1st. So getting him at, where'd Hoove get him? 2.2? I think that's right about the right spot.
Rafa, you are true. Robinson did kill it last year on the worst team, but they did add another running back to that backfield.
Yeah, but I think it's fine.
Hi, gentlemen.
Whoa, America's favorite 20-year-old, Alex Robson, joins the podcast.
I just want to say, man, Eagles jersey, I didn't catch your name at the beginning of this, man, but, man, you and I are going to be sharing some tears, man. I'm a New York Jets fan, and these 3 guys always talk the most crap about it every time I'm on here. So prayers for you and prayers for myself.
I just want to come on and say something real quick. Jay the plug. Winky.
Thanks, Mike. Cut me off in the middle of my damn sentence.
Well, it wasn't that entertaining
Nice
anyway
to meet
when
you,
you're talking
man.
about the Jets.
Likewise, my man.
Did I just pat? Never mind. Alex is on. I'll wait till he does it. I can't believe. I mean, I like Justin Jefferson, but I can't believe I passed on.
No way. Did he just go?
I passed on AJ Brown before him. Is that what I did?
Yeah, you passed on AJ, but you now are back on the clock and have a chance.
Fix my mistake right there, Tony.
we had at the turn here Robson, who just joined us, and went Dobbins and Allen. And the team is coming together quite nicely. Why'd you go quarterback so early? Do you want one of those like kind of top 3 studs at the position?
I go, like I always say, I never really go quarterback early, but there are only 3 players I will do that with the quarterback position at this point in time. Patrick Mahomes, because he's Patrick Mahomes, he's unfreaking believable. Lamar Jackson is another one because he has that two-way mentality there. He can run and pass the ball at a very elite level running, questionable at passing. And Josh Allen is kind of the opposite. He can pass at an elite level, and he can do a lot of mobility stuff as well. So for me, Josh Allen, pretty easy pick in the round 3.
Yeah, if you would have said Zach Wilson, you'd have been gone. That would have been your second strike. I'm glad that you didn't. Thank you for that.
That's my last round pick.
Although he could have some value, like some garbage time value, like fantasy, and like he can move a little bit. I'm steering clear of all Jets as much as I can. No offense to you.
Felk's in the house.
Except for Michael Carter. I think Michael Carter's okay.
Hey, Felk, real quick, DM before we don't see you again in basketball season ends, but DM the account so I can find a way to get a hold of you for the fantasy basketball draft and team and league I want to set up, because I know you're much more into basketball. So I don't know how to get a hold of Felk.
Felk, also try and get a hold of us because we want to send you some merch, bro. Thanks for being such a committed viewer of the show.
Yes.
Trust me, Mixon is garbage. I don't care. I can't get on the Mixon train no matter what. I looked at Mixon right now and I was like, nope, can't do it. Not going to do it.
I think it all ends up, I think it depends on wherever you're at. Dalton right here putting together a real nice squad. Lamar Jackson, DeAndre Hopkins
would probably be there next. I know I don't like taking him that early, but I had a feeling somebody's going to take him because he has so much value as a back too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does. He does get a lot of yards with his feet, which makes him so dangerous. And a lot of people, in my opinion, are kind of sleeping on the fact that he has weapons. Like, he's got some real legitimate wide receivers. Now, they're young, but if Sammy Watkins can stay healthy for a little bit, like maybe Mark Andrews gets a little more space to operate, and his favorite target is going to have some more space there. So
this guy, you're right, man. This guy right here, you recognize him?
That is Mr. Rashad Bateman, the Golden Gopher from the University of Minnesota.
The most unintimidating mascot ever.
The Golden Gopher. You'd say that to Eric Decker's face, huh?
I will. Are you scared of Eric Decker?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, my goodness.
Where's Jay the Plug?
Piggy, I don't know if you're listening or not, brother, but I'm really digging your draft right here.
Mixon's not in the committee. Do you guys know that?
Mixon is not in a committee.
But he sucks.
But he sucks.
Yeah, I said it, Joe Mixon. I said it.
What is your deal with Joe Mixon?
He burned
what do you
him.
have against him?
He burned him.
Oh, okay. Not too hard.
Okay. I got you, Felk. I don't know how to use Discord because I'm old. I figured that's why you picked it, but appreciate
Did
it.
you say I am Tony Tucker?
I think he's meant to say I am too, Tucker.
I don't know.
Because I said I'm digging his draft.
I am too, Tucker?
There's no question. Don't read the question marks, Burgundy. There was who else did it?
Yes.
Did I really just read that?
Where was I?
Where
was I at?
When Joe Mixon was relevant 4 years ago.
Oh no, that's what we were talking about. Joe Mixon, and not Joe Mixon's sexual proclivities. I want to talk about Joe Mixon, the football player. If he can stay healthy, he does have a lot of opportunity and can be good. It's just that it's that feeling of when you get burned by somebody enough that you just don't want to go back there. And so any person I talk to who's had Mixon on their team over the last 3 years has a negative opinion on him. What does this say?
Oh, Tucker, therapist calling you out right now.
Oh, I didn't even know the divisions were drawn yet, but I will be very happy to take all the advice that I get from your couch, from your sofa, and take it to turn it against you. I'm fully prepared to gain the respect of many of these fantasy football enthusiasts slash experts this year in these various leagues that I'm in. I gotta see when did they post that league? I'm so bad at keeping up on everything.
Kevin, come on. We know.
Okay, Dalton, I'm confused.
It auto picked. I turned it off. I didn't mean to do that. So I had auto pick on.
Okay,
I turned it off. You know who I was going to take? Julio Jones.
And he goes right after. That's hilarious.
We use the sleeper app to do this.
Thank God it's a mock draft.
Yes.
You didn't know this is the start of a league, man. Come on now.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a question I want to ask, and I'd be curious in the chat. Let's say this happens in your actual draft, right? This happens to somebody. We're caught up. We're doing the Zoom, whatever. Do you pause and roll it back for that guy, or do you just say, hey, you got 2 quarterbacks?
It happened to me last year. I let my girlfriend in my league with all my friends. Mistake. Love her to death if you're watching this, but love her to death. But anyway.
She's a huge fan.
Continue. Yeah. I'm like playing with her, and she's like, how do I draft? She has the first overall pick. I'm like, just let it auto draft. It's going to take CMC. Anyway, long story short, I was at the 3rd overall pick. I would have taken Dalvin Cook, and you guys all know how great he was last year. Instead, it auto-drafted Zeke. All year. And I'm an Eagles fan. All year.
But here's the thing with that. It's not as – to me, that's not as egregious. Right now, you just wasted a 4th-round pick on this, and you drafted Lamar Jackson. I would say, like, if there's a good explanation – I'm the kind of commissioner that rolls back for stuff like that. Like we had somebody who had to take care of a baby in one of my leagues. I rolled back because I wasn't going to have this person complaining to me all year about how he got stuck with a 3rd running back in, or whatever it was. It was like the backup running back of some team.
So first of all, if you're still doing drafts where nobody's getting together and it's not a live draft, then your league sucks.
Yeah,
we do get together for a live draft, but he got up to leave. We didn't realize he was on the clock, and his 60 seconds were up.
Yeah, it happens, like where people have to step out. I hear what you're saying, Tony. I'm with you on it. I think like this is a mock draft, so obviously, and I think I'm coming back next Monday. So this shit ain't happening next Monday. This shit ain't happening next Monday. But anyway, yeah, I'm.
That's if you get the invite back.
The declaration.
I'm hoping. Damn, Joe. Damn.
Yeah, you got to get that invite.
Are really cold.
Because we left Alex out for 2 weeks.
Getting ready to say, I'm getting ready to say I'm part of the Warzone, and these boys didn't invite me for 2 weeks straight.
I actually like this. Yeah, screw you, Joe. We all hate you. Let's all gang up on him. Come on, guys.
I like. Joe and I are older than the combined age of the 3 gentlemen in the middle. By at least a decade.
Speak for yourself, Tony Tucker.
No, I'm saying never mind, Joe. I know math isn't your strong suit.
Thank you.
Dalton, you are on the clock again.
I know. I'm like deciding who I want. This is a tough pick.
I just wanted to make sure that you were not going to end up with Tom Brady.
Let's double back and check if Easy Money's team has he improved any so far since that Patrick Mahomes disaster pick at number 5.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, it's going to be a nice lineup. It's just the value of where he got Patrick Mahomes. Like, imagine if instead of his top running back being Travis Etienne, it was Elliott, Barkley, Taylor, Chubb, any of those guys. Like, it would just be a completely different roster. It'd be a better roster. Travis Etienne's should not be your number 1 back in fantasy. It's probably not a playoff. Well, I mean, I don't know. He's got rounds.
If you make
6,
that
7,
mistake in a real draft, this is a real fantasy draft. He makes that mistake. He takes a quarterback first. Do you think that's enough to carry him because he picked up Keenan Allen, who's a viable wide receiver? He picked up George Kittle, who's probably the 3rd best tight end right now. And then you have Godwin, who's up there in one of the top receivers. Not going to say he's where he was, but is his team good enough to carry bad backs?
No,
it's
what's
not.
Gonna happen is he's gonna be in week 8, and Keenan Allen's gonna be banged up, and George Kittle's gonna be banged up.
You're such a buzzkill. This is why I don't want to be a Chargers fan. You're a Chargers fan. You're in here bashing him. The guy hasn't even
I'm being honest. I know Keenan Allen better than anyone. He gets banged up every season. Even in a season where he plays 14 or 15 games, he's playing through injury.
Okay, Mike just took his sleeper pick, and he actually, thanks for the super chat, Mike on the mic.
Who's that?
Right here, and he put this up here so you guys can know. Mike and I had a debate on Friday Night Wars about sleepers. Mike said Gaskins. He took Gaskins in the 5th round. And he just paid us $2 to tell you guys that he still doesn't know what a sleeper is.
Joe's been running around asking everyone if Gaskin's a sleeper, and everyone has been telling him yes, but he's still like, nah, he's not.
I think the poll was actually split on fantasy Twitter. I think it came back at like 50-50.
Don't defend him, Tony.
No, I have to defend him because
if Jay the Plug agrees with me, then that's fact.
Miles Gaskin in your current team, because you went RB heavy, is your 4th running back.
Yes.
But on most teams, most level-headed teams, he won't be running back number 4 if he's going in the 5th round.
He would be RB2 probably.
Okay, Krusty. Yes, he's a good pick. We're not saying he's not a good pick, but is he a sleeper? Is he considered a sleeper at the 5th pick, or the 5th overall pick, or round pick, whatever it is?
He's a starting running back who's being picked in the 5th round. Like, how can he be? Nobody's sleeping on Myles Gaskin.
This is what confuses me. Is your guys' argument is that he's a starter, but then you guys say Irv Smith is a sleeper. Irv Smith is a starter for his team. Yes, he's going to get drafted later in the draft.
Okay.
I could use the same logic. To me, a sleeper is a guy that wins you your league, that you get at a high value that you did not expect to win your league.
Okay, Mike, let me put it to you like this. There are 12 tight end positions in fantasy. Teams that go, I'm going to use a tight end at my flex too, they better have Waller and Kittle or some combination. Like if you're starting like Irv Smith and Kittle or whatever, that's probably not a super strong team that Irv Smith would be used as your flex. Irv Smith is not a fantasy starter. He's a starter in real life football. There's 32 of those tight ends. With running backs, you have to start 2 of those, and a lot of people use running back at the flex position if he's a PPR guy. So you're looking at a lot more. Like Gaskins is a fantasy starter on any level being drafted in the 5th round. Irv Smith is not necessarily a starter on any team in fantasy football.
I hear you.
Tony Tucker.
He said it can be a sleeper in any round. See football.
Oh, yeah, that's why Patrick Mahomes went 1st round. It was a sleeper.
Anyways, I hear you. I hear your argument, but here's my counter to that. Irv Smith, I looked at the averages in between 13 and 15 for tight ends this year for fantasy football ranks. That is tight end 2. Top
13
end
to
tight
15.
end 2. Listen to me. Let me make my point.
Let him.
We don't talk over each other here, Joe Morley.
Hurry the hell up.
Anyways, Myles Gaskin is being ranked around RB25. This is a 12-man league, which means Myles Gaskin is at the top end of RB3. Irv Smith is at the top end of tight end 2. I feel like that's pretty equivalent.
Can you make your pick while you're ranting?
Yes,
it's not the equivalent at all, because we all know there's a premium on running backs.
Except for
there's not everybody's trying to load their team with that. I'm the only person in fantasy who ever drafted 3 tight ends in one draft. I don't consider myself an expert by any means. I'm just going with the lottery ticket strategy is what I'm calling
13 to 15 best tight end, right, Tony? So on a 10-man, a 12-man, he's not being drafted then, right?
Yes, he's being drafted as a tight end 2.
Yeah.
As a tight end 2.
And exactly. RB3, tight end 2. We're pretty close here.
I could see a scenario in which either one, he could be your starter if there's a 12, if there's a 12-team league and somebody drafts like a Logan Thomas and another, or Mike Gesicki and another tight end. But probably not. I don't know. I don't want to badmouth my own strategy of loading up on lucky tight ends or tight ends that you think might be able to hit at the end of a draft. He's just Gaskins is not. Nobody can convince me he's a sleeper in there.
Here's a question.
Nope.
If Joe Morley drafts Mike Davis in the 6th round, and Mike Davis goes off and wins Joe Morley's league, is Mike Davis a sleeper pick?
I would consider that one, yes.
What about you, Tony?
I don't consider him a sleeper at the beginning, so why would him winning be a sleeper at the end? If he are you considering a sleeper somebody who outperforms where they were drafted? If he finishes as a top five back,
not just outperforms, wins you your championship.
Have you seen Mike Davis's thighs?
Are you saying Mike Davis is a sleeper, Joe Morley?
Ain't nobody sleeping on him. Where'd he go in this draft?
Can I just call time out real quick? Can I just call time out real quick?
Yeah.
Can we just talk about how Joe Morley all of a sudden just dropped? Has anyone looked at his thighs? And none of us batted an eye to that.
No, he does. He's got some amazing quads. He does.
You can look at other people's thighs. You can look at guys' thighs. It's okay.
Why not? Hell yeah.
What is your problem with that? You just because looking at guys' thighs is like putting pineapple and ranch on pizza? Is that what you're talking about?
Here we go with that argument.
We need to have a quad.
Why do you bring this up all this time? Like, oh my God in heaven, Joe Morley.
We need to have a quad flashback Friday to a young man out of Penn State named Kajana Carter. That dude was one of the original quad guys. And then what was his name? I'm blanking on his name. Somebody help me. The Nigerian Nightmare running back. Christian Okoye. That guy. He had some quads.
I know clock management's in the chat right now. Clock, you know about Mike Davis's thighs. Go ahead. You could put it in there. It's all right. Don't be shy.
Mike, I like the Jerry Jeudy pick. I'm a big fan of Jerry Jeudy balling out this year. I got him in the 8th. That doesn't make me better, but yeah, it is.
I'm going with the classic Kevin Corea piggy bank picks, heavy RBs, and we'll work with try and land a breakout receiver. So I got Devonta Smith, I got Jerry Jeudy. I'm going to probably turn around and get another receiver in the 3rd or maybe in the 4th.
That was photoshopped, right? That's not real.
No, that's
not it.
These smaller running backs, dude, they got to be strong.
Take that in, boys. Take that, Mike.
Stop
Davis
it. This the same person who works on all the Kardashian photos worked on this photo for Mike Davis's quads. Like, that's what happened. This is professionally done. I'm convinced otherwise. That thing is ridiculous. Can't be built like that. Dalton, where are we at with your draft here?
Anyways,
how are you feeling about your bounce back?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm feeling okay about my bounce back. I mean, if this was a real league, my strategy would be to go to a team, maybe honestly like the guy behind me, Krusty FF, with DeAndre Swift, Amari Cooper, maybe a little Russell Wilson for 2 of them, see if I can get something. I mean, I don't think that they would do that. They're too early picks, but try to finesse something at least with Russell Wilson as some bait. But my recovery, I like Damian Harris. I think he's a great pick. I think I got some good value there. DJ Moore, I mean, he was the best right there. I mean, honestly, over Wilson, I would have taken Jones. So that would have dramatically changed how I'm drafting now. But I do like Odell where I got him. I have one more guy. I'll speak on it if I get him with my next pick, if he's still there, that I think would be probably my biggest sleeper of next year. So keep an eye out.
Okay. I'm interested. How are we feeling, Robson, over there at the 1 position? I saw that you went Gesicki. Is that because Kyle Pitts is gone? Like, what is that?
Yeah, my man took Kyle Pitts. As you guys know, that is my heavy favorite to be one of the better tight ends in the league this coming season because I just love everything he brings to the table. But that's not knocking Mike Gesicki. I think Mike Gesicki is a very talented guy. And I'm also putting a little bit of trust with that pick in Tua Tagovailoa. I think people got a little bit spoiled with how great Justin Herbert played in his rookie year, where Tua had an okay rookie year. He just didn't light it up. And plus, he was not 100% coming into the year, and I didn't think he really looked 100% in the year throughout it as he played. So I think Tua Tagovailoa bounces back, has a great sophomore year, and I think Mike Gesicki will be a big part of that, as I think he is a great route-running tight end that can really catch a lot of good passes.
And the thing is, Alex, for Tua having a good sophomore year, to me, he does not need to come out and unload the stat sheet. He needs to have a second year similar to what Baker did last year. Just be a game manager, listen to your head coach, run this offense smoothly, get it into the hands of those weapons that can make plays after the catch, get down into the red zone, and start dumping it off to Gesicki in the red zone. I think Gesicki is going to be the red zone target in Miami.
I agree.
We're really not going to read that comment right here?
What is it?
Drivel, Mike Davis quads. I would take them with my first 2 picks. The quads. Press the quads on Mike Davis.
That's funny.
Shaw Color, I gave you. They're trying to make trades. This draft was done. Move on. I am back to having Saquon at number 1 too. Oh, we're gonna have a clock on for that conversation.
I still can't believe Deshaun Watson is still out there. Like, part of me would take him.
Don't ever say to his name. Sorry.
You're all good. You're all good. I just can't believe he's still out there. This guy, I think he's still there. This is my sleeper pick, though, Tony.
Okay.
This guy, I think, might thrive. I know that it's an unpopular opinion, but as the third man in that playing slot, probably he's been okay the past couple of years, not amazing. And this is coming from a Philly fan, so take it with a grain of salt. If I'm saying that, I think he might be an all right receiver next year. Maybe get his first 1,000-yard season.
I don't think that anybody doubts the talent. It's just that a lot of us have been waiting for it to really pop for a couple years, and it doesn't happen. There's a lot of mouths to feed because people forget about their tight end there. Blake Jarwin, he can also catch the ball. Zeke's going to get some work in the passing game, and then you have those 3 wide receivers. It's a lot of mouths to feed. Yeah, he's also really great to have if anything happens to Cooper or Lamb, to still get there. But yeah, I could see it. I think he's, great to have at sort of this end of the draft. Not somebody that I'd want to be putting in my lineup, but as your wide receiver 4, I'm good with this.
That's a good point. That's how I see it.
Shot callers getting Tommy Brady.
I don't know if I can trust you, though, man. You're an Eagles fan. You guys have been making the wrong decisions on wide receivers the past, 3 seasons.
Yeah, we did blow that, but I'm just thankful we got our Super Bowl in 2018. So And don't even make me bring up the Jets Super Bowl. I didn't want to do you like that the first time, Alex.
Brother, I hear it every damn day, so it's nothing new to me. Trust me, it don't hurt. It don't hurt my heart no more. It don't hurt my heart no more.
I hear you. You got Zach Wilson, though, so you guys will be all right. That Disney Channel superstar, I think, is going to crush it, so you'll be okay.
I don't know.
What is easy? What did you do now?
Damn you, Joe Morley Sports.
What did Easy Money Sniper got himself a good running back for the Anthony Lynn system. I think he'll be fine, and I honestly think that Jamal Williams could be a guy that gets a lot of work. Depending on what DeAndre Swift can do between the tackles. I think a lot of people. I think Jamal Williams can play football.
I'm with you. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Detroit Lions offense.
Oh my
God! Hey, slow down. I'm not going that far. I'm talking fantasy. Yeah. I'm talking You guys have already said the Lions are the worst team in football.
So would you call DeAndre
I didn't
Swift?
say that. I've never said the Lions were the worst team in football. I said the team that somebody rocking in here is one of the worst. You
said the Eagles team. What were you going to say, Mike? Mike's about to try to make an underhanded comment to me. Here we go.
I am the one that
No, finish it. I heard where you were going with it.
The Lions are going to be the worst team in football. But what I was going to ask is DeAndre Swift a sleeper?
I knew you were going to say that. Why would DeAndre Swift be considered a sleeper?
Well, he just said he's on a sleeper offense. They're sleeping on him, right?
Mike,
okay.
He's making the ball a lot.
I don't think anyone's sleeping on the Lions offense. It's going to be bad. I'm sorry, Jared Goff, but it's going to be ugly.
I have $100 that the Lions win less than 4 games this year.
Ooh, you actually have that down already?
I have that bet. It's with my cousin, with my brother.
You're winning it.
I think it may come down. I think it may come down to.
I'm about to agree with Alex. I think it comes down to how bad is Jared Goff actually. Because I've been low on him since his rookie year. Even through the Super Bowl year, I was telling people, this guy is being carried by this roster, by this coach, and by the situation that he's in. So how bad is he actually? We're going to find out this year. If he's even average, he's way better than I expected him to be.
Mike, read the comment. Read the comment out loud.
Yeah, you can't. I agree with that.
You can't call everyone a sleeper. You can't, Mike. Krusty's telling you right now.
Okay, so I wanted real quick at this. Plug, who I trust, right? He drafts TJ Hawkinson, who's a top, he drafts him in the 5th round. And I've read some projections where they have TJ Hawkinson moving ahead of George Kittle, just based on opportunity and talent, right? And also the way that Kittle plays, he tends to get a little more banged up with that all-out style. I could definitely see Hawkinson going ahead, and you can say what you want to say about Jared Goff. But then he drafts Logan Thomas, And I wonder about that sort of a strategy, but also in this makes Irv Smith now a viable starter in Mike's world of him not being a sleeper, because two of the top tight ends are now on one roster. I think these are consensus 2 top 10 tight ends, Hawkinson being that of a top 5. Like, so I would be interested to ask Jay why he made that pick.
I think Irv Smith is a sleeper, by the way, Tony. I'm using Irv Smith as leverage because that's who Joe chose as his sleeper. That's why I use it as a name.
Okay.
I just want to clarify.
I agree.
Joe starts yelling.
I agree with you. I agree that Irv Smith is a sleeper.
5th round players sleepers, Mike, so far today. They're keeping track.
Y'all about to let me fall asleep with the same damn conversation we've been having for the past near hour.
Well, we can
Come on now.
Alex. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, Alex, here's the thing. You have a microphone in front of you. Feel free to inject life into the conversation instead of commenting on the current conversation.
Let's talk about Dalton's pick. He's got 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4.
I don't know why, but it won't let me draft.
2. Oh.
Let's see who we get.
Alex, I apologize. That was rude.
Another quarterback.
3 quarterbacks. 3 quarterbacks. That's hilarious.
We are the trade team. That's my new team's philosophy. I'm going to be like Bill Belichick in this. No, I'm just kidding.
Just trading everybody.
Play it off as if you did it on purpose.
Yeah, guys, that's my mind. You know who I really wanted to take there? I mean, I might keep my mouth shut. It might be a little bit early, but I mean, my team's kind of shot already. So I'll be back next week if you guys invite me, like Joe said, if I'm invited. But anyway, I would take that Browns defense. That's who I was going to take there. Don't sleep on them for like 5-10 points a game coming in clutch, solid. They're going to be consistent, I think. That roster's loaded. So I actually would have taken the defense right there.
Okay, Dalton, I'm going to save you from this. In this mock draft, you will get killed less for taking a 3rd quarterback than you would for taking defense in the 9th round.
Kill me if you want, but it's a strategy. Like you were saying with your tight end strategy, that's how I feel about it. My defense, dude, I don't know. When I started playing fantasy, I had the 2013 Seahawks on my fantasy team. So that probably is part of why I have a bias towards defenses. I would get like 20 points a game from my freaking defense. But I don't know. That Browns defense, I'm not sleeping on them at all. I think they might be worth like maybe an 8th overall, 9th overall pick for me. That might have been early, but
real quick. How many times has that strategy worked out for you since 2013? Because I can't imagine greatly.
I'm a 2-time league winner. 2013, I won.
No. You can still win, but I'm saying that you drafted the number 1, maybe almost top 3 defense all time. Not just that year. We're talking Legion to Boom, 85 Bears, 2000 Ravens. How many times have you drafted a all-time great defense in the top 10? Just asking for a friend.
Like top 10 defenses, you mean? Like not top 10 picks?
Yeah. Okay. Your reference for drafting the Browns right now is that one year you drafted maybe one of the greatest defenses we've ever seen. Yeah. You think the Cleveland Browns this year could be one of the greatest defenses we've ever seen? Yes or no?
Stats wise, I'll take a hot take. Don't sleep on it. Yeah, I love the Browns. Go ahead. Yeah,
I got some bad news. Dalton.
Dalton.
So while you were
go ahead, lay into me, but I love them.
No, it ain't about that. Look at your team.
Tony. While you were distracting Dalton about defenses, now he has 4 quarterbacks on his team.
I'll take that one on the chin.
It's really okay, man. My team's already shot. I'm just hoping that you got. Now I have to get invited next week. Now you have to invite me back, That's Tony, true. Because you distracted me. So now
I enjoy, and you're a good sport, and you're taking all these questions. I'm with you on the Browns defense, right? Like I love the Browns are my AFC pick to get to the Super Bowl. Like I really think they're going to run their way and play defense. And you will start hearing throughout this year people going on and saying they're playing football like the early 90 Cowboys. That will be takes that you will see as they are going back to pounding the football and playing good defense. And they have sort of a guy that's game managing in a way like Troy Aikman did. Now, miss me with all the Troy Aikman's better than Baker Mayfield. I'm not arguing on that. I'm saying that Baker will play that similar role and Nick Chubb will be, and Kareem Hunt will be some combination of Emmitt Smith. And then you have reliable guys at the wide receiver position. The Browns going to the Super Bowl this year.
I would love to see it.
I would just say, like, in any draft, you'll be able to get the Browns in at least the 11th or 12th of any. And I'm not a fan. I'm just saying, wait till 11 or 12 at least, and I guarantee you'll get the Browns. And you could trade for the Browns. For
You think 11 or 12?
Back.
Next week, I'm writing that down now. So
yes,
I'm gonna
unless
wait
one of these trolls in here, and don't put it past Joe Morley to go get them in the 9th round just to troll you. But I'm saying in your personal leagues, I think you'd be fine waiting until at least the 11th round to get the Browns.
He actually did.
I like that though. I like that because
Tired of Joe
my league with my friends, we get real competitive. So, and I know that they're going to be looking for the Browns defense like me.
That's also something to keep in mind. If you know who you're drafting against, you can kind of play some tendencies.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh man.
So,
Well, okay.
When you were talking about the Browns being the AFC Super Bowl representatives, I saw Alex down there shake his head and say to himself, like, no, it's going to be the Jets. He's a big Jets fan. So right about now, I'm going to be drafting my Jets players.
That's even funnier than the Browns winning the Super Bowl.
I'm interested in Seven's team. I know Seven can't join us today, but maybe at some point he can go live on the Warzone and talk about this particular draft that he's had, because he's real heavy on getting your running backs early, and he does get two. He gets two very solid guys that I think are one and two backs, but then in the middle rounds here loads up on the San Francisco backfield and the number 2 in Baltimore. And that to me is like, I'm curious as to how he feels about this, as opposed to like maybe diversifying that backfield a little bit more than just the top 3. But I'm interested in that. This was a draft where you were supposed to draft defense and kicker. Was that the whole thing? Was it supposed to be every week we do something different? This was defense and kicker. And you have to. I'll say this. I also almost never draft a defense in fantasy. Like,
really?
I'll stream my defense all year long. And I also I always wait on position like tight end. A few years ago,
you and me are opposites. Like, you're tight end, and that's what I was going to say. That's the position every year I streamline, like you're saying. Like, I find a guy, like, you remember 2 years ago when George Kittle just came out of nowhere on waivers? I was that guy in my fantasy league, which was awesome. I had him. So something like that, like, just from my experience too with the Seattle, the best 2 defenses I've had since I've been drafted since 2013. I'm 22. That 2013 Seattle defense, best, hands down. And then the closest thing I think I would actually say, maybe even the Eagles defense that year, that we went to the Super Bowl, at least during the regular season when we went 13-3. That defense was playing really, really well a lot of games. And I, of course, as a fan, I took them in fantasy. And
2 years ago, before the pandemic, I picked up the Patriots defense on waivers in like the first week, and they were getting double digit. They were outscoring most people and whatever. And I just kept riding them out there. At some point, I worked them into a trade and was able to get a third wide receiver that I needed due to some injuries. So I'm just saying, you never know, like the Washington football team is going to have a nice defense. The Steelers are getting players back there. The Buccaneers returned all of their studs on defense. Like, there's a lot. That's why I'm saying, like, missing out on a 9th round, like, third wide receiver, or maybe that's where you get a tight end if you want, who's in that area. Oh, a lot of them are gone, but like the Logan Thomas, Irv Smith, to me, it just feels like there's a lot of solid defenses out there to use a pick in the 9th round. Feels early, but I respect it. If you win, you win. Winners win, Dalton.
I like it, but I mean, it is risky. I have a good feeling about that. I look at it on paper, and they have guys that were first round picks 3 or 4 years ago that are, and I'm not saying those guys are amazing. Don't get me wrong. There's a reason that they're second rounders, but they have guys like, what's his name? Tack McKinley, who I don't think he's great. Don't get me wrong, but maybe did he not get the shot that he should have got? I don't know. And don't worry, I'm drafting. I'm with it. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell.
Yeah, you do that, and then we'll come back to that in a second, and I'll let you defend it a little bit. Oh, you've already gone. Gronk. Yeah, no, I think they've added some nice pieces. They added in the secondary. I thought they had a nice draft. I forget Koromora? Who's the guy that they drafted?
Yeah, Jeremiah Owusu Koromaya, I don't know, from Notre Dame, but he was a great pick for them. And to be paired up with, I forget their main linebacker that they have there.
Yeah, I'm blanking on who the other linebacker
is.
They
had Taki last year, who was okay for them, I know, because I just loved watching that guy and saying his name. They got somebody decent, though, at linebacker. I'll look it up, and I'll get back to you in a second.
Yeah, but and then you add edge rusher. I like Clowney as obviously as a player, but when he can be the second guy, I think he can have some impact there. I want to give Robson a little bit of love, which, not something that I enjoy doing at all. But I like the opportunity of, in the 10th round, take Corey Davis. Why not? The guy's got a ton of talent, and there's going to be opportunity for him at the end of the game as the most, skill set wise, he's the best receiver on the Jets, right? If he would have lived up to being a top 5 pick, he's better than these little slot gadget guys that they have. And there could be some Hail Mary balls going up to him. You are on the clock, and you got your boy, Tyler Bass.
No, there's my boy.
There's your boy. Love it. Why not?
Why not let it fly at the very end? Got to get my boy.
I'm a big proponent in that in fantasy. Get players that you want to cheer for. I reached on a player that I wanted, and it cost me getting my handcuffed in a draft, because I really like Darnell Mooney, and I wanted him, and it ended up costing me. But we'll see. Todd Gurley's still going in drafts. I don't know.
Is he even on a damn team?
I don't think he's on a team yet. Here, I want to welcome
they're flirting
in
with the Ravens, but
Ben from the Fantasy Shot Callers.
What's
Talk
up,
to the people.
gentlemen?
Let them know where they can find you, brother.
Instagram, YouTube coming soon, Facebook, fantasy_shot callers. We're here. We do it big. And we just had our first actual draft for a super flex with an even 2 flex and super flex. So it was crazy yesterday. But it was a good time, and it looks like I'm on the clock.
You are. You got 55 seconds. I'd be interested to hear that roster too. Dalton, how are you, just to go away from fantasy this year, how are you feeling about the rebuild of your Philadelphia Eagles?
Great question. So I'll say this. I like the position that we're in if it works or doesn't work out with Hurts. Just because, for me personally, you think about it, and it's we have 3 first-round picks last year. That was the one thing that I did really like Howie Roseman did this year. I still want him fired. He's still terrible. He still sucks. He'll leave my city. But you guys are laughing because you guys understand. You know what I mean? What we're dealing with. I mean, Justin Jefferson and Jalen Reagor, and then the year before, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and DK Metcalf. What? Anyway.
You're talking to another Jets fan, so I understand your troubles.
It's just painful, man. But anyway, long story short about the Eagles, I like the position that we're in with 3 first-round picks. I think Devontae Smith was the right pick. I think he'll be a great player for us. I like that we're going to test out the chemistry with Jalen Hurts, but there's talks, and I don't see this happening, of the Eagles signing or trying to make a move for Deshaun Watson when all the legal allegations get done. Personally, I wouldn't be a fan of that. I love Deshaun Watson, but I just think we're giving up so much to get him. Whereas if you can just build with Jalen Hurts and ride that rookie contract, you guys all know the time to win a Super Bowl is with a young QB. So, I like the position that we're in. I like it more than we were in the prior season. I'm upset about Carson, but he didn't want to be here at the end of the day, and you can't put a guy in a jersey that he doesn't want to play for a football team or that city. You know what I mean? So it was kind of we had to get rid of him.
I want to disagree real quick because I think that you can win obviously, like there's a great window to win with a young quarterback, but like Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger, like they've played in like 30 of the last. So like really what you need is a great quarterback, which I think Deshaun Watson is. You just have to surround him with the right coach and the right talent.
He's going to bring too much drama to Philadelphia, and it would. I mean, even just him going there would be hilarious because he's a dude full of lust, and the Philly is the city of brotherly love. So
and lust.
Maybe, and lust, I guess. So.
You can say it. Don't worry, you won't offend me.
But they need to try Jalen Hurts out. I mean, they were already out of the playoffs pretty much when he came into the show last year, and with everything that went on with what he did, how he was almost able to beat an Arizona Cardinals team that was vying for their playoff lives. Like, I think people are they have him too high in drafts, but I think he's going to be a solid piece for that Eagles offense. And with the Eagles too, I mean, I don't think Rager is done. I really don't. I have him having, this is my boldest prediction of the year is that he's going to have a DK Metcalf bounce back, because they played. I mean, they're obviously very two different statures of gentlemen, but they just couldn't catch the ball in their first year. They had those, oh, you scary? I hear footsteps behind me. Like, that's like literally what
an injury too. Rager was out for so long,
and he had to just jump into the mix of all this. Not trauma, but all the stuff that's going on.
Drama.
Between Carson Wentz and the head coach, and just there's a lot of turmoil. Turmoil is the word I was looking for.
That's a great word.
And it is.
That was the perfect way to describe it. Turmoil, chaos. I think what was the thing that we all said in Philly? I forget. A shit show. That was the exact word.
I was getting ready to say probably nothing we can say on air.
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
Jalen Rager is one of those guys that I definitely think where he's going, he's worth drafting, right? I did the same thing. I think the same thing with Henry Ruggs. When they've invested into these young players, they're going to give them the opportunity. They have the talent. Can they stay healthy and manifest that into something? So, like, they're definitely worth that shot. I think Jalen Hurts has a great opportunity to be in fantasy-wise. I don't know about his NFL career, but in fantasy football has a great opportunity to have sort of like those Blake Bortles, like the run that Tebow had, where you aren't really expecting it, but all of a sudden he's a top 5, top 7 fantasy quarterback because in the fourth quarter of every game, he's running for 60 yards and putting up some junk time touchdowns. I don't think the Eagles will be very good this year, like overall as a football team, but fantasy-wise, I do like Jalen Hurts, and I like a 12th round shot at Jalen Rager because he could be a beast.
I mean, shout out to Krusty for getting Jalen Hurts in the 10th round. That's like perfect. That's literally perfect. I mean, I've been seeing him go like 7 and 8, and that's just like way too early. There are too many wide receivers out there this year to really pick a quarterback unless it's Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, or Josh Allen. I mean, I'm a little down on Kyler Murray. I don't know if what he went through at the end of the year last year to really, I mean, I think his confidence was shot because he lost a lot of close games. But we'll see. I mean, Kyler Murray was the huge like boom guy last year with what he was able to do in the first half of the season. But I'm excited to see what he can do. But I mean, just everyone else, like Dak is a question mark. Justin Herbert, I think, is going to have a sophomore slump. Shout out Mike on the mic. But I mean, Jalen Hurts, 10th round, I think that's perfect.
Sophomore slumps are always a weird thing for me because I think that a sophomore slump can happen for one sort of major reason. Like you outperform, but you're not in a place that has stability. Like Justin Jefferson is in a place that has stability and he has talent. So like, maybe he's not like, maybe he doesn't perform to like a second round pick that he's going to, but I still have him up there in the top 10. Like maybe he shouldn't be the third or fourth wide receiver off the board, but he's still top 10 value because Kirk Cousins is stable, that offense is stable, and he's just right now he's passing, he's ascending while Thielen's kind of maybe stabilizing or declining a little bit, into his 30s. So I think Jefferson's fine, and we play in a league that's passing friendly. All these guys want to do is like they just want to chuck the ball, move the ball up and down the field. For me, it's tougher to find running backs than it is wide receivers. Like I look at some of these, if you just go to the 8th round, Antonio Brown, Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, Laviska Shenault, Mike Williams, and Deebo Samuel could all be usable like flexes or wide receiver 3s. That's in the 8th round of the fantasy draft.
Yeah. I mean, there's really no reason unless you're like 11th or 12th or in a 14-man league, which is just bonkers, to pick a wide receiver. And the first couple, I mean, I picked DK Metcalf. I wanted Hopkins, but obviously I was trying to go double RB. It didn't work out. And Joe Mixon, it's Joe Mixon. And I really wanted Chris Carson, but he was way too early.
Thank you, brother.
Take care, guys. I got to hop off. Appreciate the time.
Please,
Great
dude.
meeting you guys. Maybe next Monday, if you guys choose to have me back, tell Joe I said that. And
Five quarterbacks next week.
Next week, no auto draft comes on, and I'll pick 4. Thank you, guys.
We'll see you next week, brother.
Peace,
Take
dude.
care.
Yes, let's I don't even know. Let's go to Robson's been quiet over here for a minute. Let's take a look at your roster. How you feeling about this?
I like my roster. I kind of wanted to go 2 running backs that get a lot of the workload in McCaffrey and Dobbins. McCaffrey, of course, gets a little bit of everything, passing in game and running game. Same thing with J.K. Dobbins. Josh Allen in the 3rd round. I know I don't like doing that, but like I said, Josh Allen is one of those couple guys I'd take that high. Then I went a bit on a receiving tear there with CD, Mike Evans, and Tyler Lockett. Got Gesicki as well. I like the well-roundedness of my team. Now, I did draft the LA Rams defense as well. I think that'll be a great pick turnout as well because their defense is absolutely insane. So I like my team, and of course we're talking about sleepers all damn day. So I guess my sleeper will be JD McKissick. I think he has a chance for a nice season, and I like what he can bring. And Randy Pepperton, shut your hold. I think my team is pretty solid.
So how do you feel about Curtis Samuel being on that team with picking up McKissick? Because
I still think McKissick will be the main guy. Samuel, I know, is a bit of an everything guy. I know they like to use him a lot. But you got to remember Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I'm not expecting a ton out of him passing the ball. So I think a lot of his production will be out of the backfield as well. But I think they'll split pretty even. But I think J.D. McKissick will still be a very talented football player and get a lot of production.
Yeah, I like McKissick too as a nice, sort of fill-in. If he's just healthy and out there, again, a team that if in close games at the end, the 2-minute drill, he's going to get a lot of dump offs. I like McKissick's ability. For me, it's always been like whether or not he can be on the field. Whether it was in Seattle or it's in Washington, it doesn't really matter. I already gave you praise for the Corey Davis, basically a flyer. Like he could easily become on your fantasy team a top 3 wide receiver. Yeah, I think this is a good draft, and I'm okay with where you took Allen because you're definitely not getting. If you want a quarterback of that caliber, you wouldn't get him on the comeback there. Yeah, it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, that was the reason I took him because I had to think because I always like either getting the first pick or the last pick because I have that enviable spot of having 2 straight picks. So I was able to kind of map out my plan, get the 2 running backs that I wanted, and Dobbins and McCaffrey, and then I got to take my quarterback. Got to take the guy who lights up my defense every single season. Got to take Josh Allen.
Oh, man, I just figured out Christoph's burner account, Felk. Nice work. No, he's getting a little bit of love, and I had to shit on him for it. If we can highlight Ben's team, I'm not sure if anybody's running it in the background, but if we can highlight the fantasy shot callers here. Take us through what you were thinking, which if you missed on anybody.
So with Zeke, I am down on Chubb. I'm down on Jonathan Taylor. And I'm down on Saquon because he just came out and said he may not be playing week 1. And I'm trying to go undefeated this year. So I'm going to go with the semi-sure thing, even if Dak isn't 100%, but he plays all year, Zeke will have a fine year. And then I wanted, like I said earlier, I wanted Chris Carson, but it was too early in the second round. And honestly, I let's see. Oh, and I picked DK Metcalf, so I'm not going to rely on all Seattle offense. So that's why I went Mike Thomas, and it was a lapse of judgment real quick, but of course I had to go with the GOAT of Thigh World in Mike Davis. I think he's going to have a lot. He's going to be literally a workhorse like that picture showed this year. Matty Ice likes to throw the ball, but I just want to watch those run all day.
Close up. Move
exactly. And so I was, for quarterback, I was in between the real GOAT and Ryan Tannehill, because I like to get that wide receiver quarterback 1-2 punch with Julio Jones. But I decided to go with Tom Brady. And then I couldn't believe that Washington football team was still available after, let's see.
Yeah, I think 4 or 5 defenses had gone at that point.
And they propelled me to 2 championships last year. And Brady did as well in one league. And then, I got some sleepers with my my later rounds, and Chenault, who I think is going to have a good year. Mooney, who I'm really high on. I think that Allen Robinson won't be able to handle the full workload. He's going to do great, but Justin Fields will spread the ball around because I have him coming in week 4. And then I just had to do it. This one was for myself and Robson because I already had a New York Jet, but I had to go with Elijah Moore to end it.
Guy's going to be a stud.
Yeah. And I've been hearing some things, and, that he's going to be top 15, which, I don't know if I agree with, because I am low on picking rookies. I'm really low on picking rookies in the first 3 rounds. Like Najee Harris, not proven. Let's see, who else? Javonte Williams, 4th round, way too high. But there's obviously upside to them. I didn't pick Saquon the year that he was a rookie and did well. It auto drafted, and I ended up getting him. But my thing is, within the first couple rounds, I need people that have proven myself. I'm not going to bank on just hearsay. And because one thing I'll say about college, you only need 1 foot in bounds to catch the ball.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we've seen some other highly touted players come out, and it's a different beast, right? Like Trent Richardson jumps top of mind for all those who remember Trent. I don't know if Mike or Joe want to get in and talk about their team, but I would like to give some love to my favorite team drafted, and that's Piggy's team, all the way from the 12th spot. He's typically, Piggy goes really crazy with running backs early on, but I think I really like the squad the way that he did with having Juju at number 4. His top 2 wide receivers are guys that I think easily finish, to me, inside the top 8. I'm bigger on McLaurin than most people. I like Noah Fant, an opportunity there, especially if Bridgewater is the quarterback. I like Bridgewater for Judy and Fant. Those are 2 guys that I think he would work nicely with. I'm also a bigger fan of Kenyon Drake than most people. because I do believe that he'll be nicely fit into the passing game and the garbage time that they're going to be having in Reno. And Joe Burrow is going to have tons of garbage time. Got tons of garbage time points with all sorts of weapons all over there. And the Patriots defense, if you're going to draft, it's Bill Belichick, people. Like this, they're going to get back players that were opted out last year. That defense is going to be better, and I think they're going to be playing a very ball control. A lot of low points, getting a lot of turnovers. I think the Patriots is a good defense to have that will consistently be getting you points every week in fantasy football. And they get to play the Jets. They get to play a young Tua. Like Belichick crushes young quarterbacks. So they play the Bills twice, but they get 4 games against young quarterbacks. Those are 4 very good startable games for Belichick to go against some young guys. Mike, Joe, you guys want to get in here? I don't know if you want to talk about your teams.
I'll get in here. What's up, Tony Tucker?
You want to talk about your team, or do you want to go see your boy Easy Money? What do you want to do?
Hey, I'm always down to roast Easy Money. I'm always down. Now you guys know. Easy Money. I think he bounced back a little bit. We were a little hard on him.
Yeah.
Just because we're used to the mock drafts where we don't see quarterbacks go that early. But then he went Keenan Allen second round, and we're like, oh, what? What are you doing there? Kittle, Etienne, Godwin, Robbie Anderson, Chase Edmonds, Jamal Williams, Will Fuller, Trevor Lawrence, Steelers defense, Sanders. Sanders could be a top 3 kicker this year, and Ertz.
That's sad.
His running back slots should literally just say questionable on all of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like he would have to have Patrick Mahomes would have to carry that team this whole season.
If Patrick Mahomes throws for 60 touchdowns and 6,000 yards, he probably still wouldn't make the playoffs. If you take Patrick Mahomes at number 1, I don't see him having the edge over at any other position, like on a week-to-week basis. Maybe tight end, he's got an edge there. Like if you go quarterback that early, I think you have to then sacrifice, and you can't go early on tight end. It's too risky with George Kittle for me.
That's right, Phil K.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's why we do the mock draft. Maybe from this he will go differently, and he'll go. I don't know. It would the team would feel better to me if he didn't have Patrick Mahomes there, and he had Zeke, Keenan Allen, Kittle, Travis Etienne. I'd be like, oh, okay, like that feels like a solid squad.
I mean, maybe he knows something that we don't. Like all these players, like James Robinson is going to get injured. James Conner he probably will get injured. DeAndre Swift goes down. He is week to week. And let's see. Oh, Will Fuller never plays a full season. So no matter, maybe he'll just take a vacation. He's like, I'm going to go to the Bahamas and not play football anymore.
Isn't he suspended the first couple games anyway?
Yes.
Yeah.
And his skill set just doesn't match up with Tua. Like he really is a sort of straight line speed. It worked well with a guy like Deshaun Watson, who can wing it from anywhere, in the pocket, out of the pocket, in drop dimes. I don't see that being Tua's strength. That's why I really think Jalen Waddle is the guy that you're going to want there. And Gesicki.
I'm usually not the guy to say this kind of thing, but I'm seriously saying this team sucks.
If we had to name this team, we would call it the Jets.
Oh.
All right, now let's roast Joe's team.
Joe, let's go. Put your squad up there.
I did make a couple just to get on people. Like I wouldn't have took the Browns defense when I did, but it made for good TV, right? I took Alvin Kamara at number 1, Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown. You can't go wrong there. I think Williams is going to be the starter in Denver. I don't know what everybody else's consensus is there, but I think he's going to be the starter there from day 1. Took Justin Herbert a little bit earlier, but I did that just because I knew Mike was probably looking for him. Ronald Jones, I still like Ronald Jones. Cortland Sutton, I normally have been taking Jerry Jeudy in this spot, but I want to switch it up a little bit, see what's going on. I need to take a running back, so I took Zach Moss as the better of the 2 in Buffalo. I took Antonio Brown, whose numbers still compare good to the other guys that are in Tampa Bay. took the Cleveland Browns, which is not horrible, but normally wouldn't have took him there. Henry Ruggs, I just took that for my sleeper. This is one of my sleepers right here, but it's not really a sleeper because everybody talks about him. Is St. Brown, and then I took the Tampa Bay kicker because they should be putting some points on the board, right?
I like that.
Well, Joe, I think we also have to remove context of sleeper. Like in our small world of people who are creating content in sports on a daily basis, Armand St. Brown probably isn't a sleeper, right? Because we've all talked about him and the opportunity he's going to have. But to the rest of the world who's just sort of getting into fantasy, he will be a sleeper to them. They will not know about him.
I will say a sleeper on that Lions team could very well be Tyrell Williams, ex-Raider.
If he could stay healthy.
Exactly, 100%. But
that's always been his issue.
It's always been an issue for every Raider player worth a damn.
I like Henry Ruggs this year.
That's what you get, Joe Morley.
Look at what Nelson Aguilar was able to do in that position. You can have fantasy value. Derek Carr's a good quarterback. People hate the Raiders so much. I don't feel the same way
because their fans are so nauseated.
Yeah, I don't like their fans at all. Their fans are the worst. But
say it to their face.
You're nauseating, Joe Morley. You are.
You're lucky that we moved to Vegas. If you would have said that in Oakland, it would have been on right now.
Yeah, you guys are more friendly. You're a little liquored up with Jello shots and cleaning out the body glitter out of your eyes.
I mentioned it earlier, Tony. I mentioned it earlier, and I'll clean it up a little bit. Not that people are talking. Not that people are sleeping on them, but people are underrating a little bit of that Detroit offense. I'm not saying they're going to come out and be a top 10 offense, but they're going to put some points up. They're going to put some yardage up. And we're talking about it. Like you said, TJ Hawkinson could be a top 3 tight end. So if you like TJ Hawkinson, you got to like the guy that's throwing the ball, right? Think what you want of Jared Goff. I think Anthony Lynn's going to put him in the best position that he can, and they're going to do it. They're going to run that, and they're going to run the ball, then pass it. Play action right there, right? Then you have Williams that could take over the top, and then with Brown, they're going to be better than people think. They're not going to come out here and be a horrible offense. They're going to be all right. I'm not saying top 10, but they're going to be better than people think.
So in the Superflex league that I just we just drafted yesterday, me and my co-host, we picked up, and this was just to be like, what are you guys doing? I think 7 or 8 teams didn't have a tight end by I don't know, round 5 or 6. But I'm not talking about just any old tight end, like TJ Hawkinson, Mark Andrews, some good tight ends. So we picked up George Kittle and Hawkinson.
Oh.
And
what do you do with that? You're going to start 2 tight ends?
So let's see. So there's a quarterback, a super flex. I'm looking at my team right now. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 2 flexes along with a tight end. So, and obviously defense, but no kicker in this league. So, I mean, having that extra flex, I mean, there's just so many options you can do with that. And it was kind of more of a, what are you guys doing kind of deal. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think it will be very fruitful. Our first, since it was super flex, we had the number 1 overall pick, and we didn't go with McCaffrey just for fear of him. He was injured twice last year, and for him re-aggravating something and doing something along those lines. And so we decided to go super flex and pick Mahomes with the first pick. And it was cool.
Okay. I'm interested to hear how that turns out for you. But any which way that it goes, you'll be able to spin a narrative injury. We all do that in our own, this is why things didn't work out because this and that, whatever. But I'm interested You highlighted Krusty here. I see. Are we gonna? How are we feeling about
just
Krusty's
asked.
team?
He said, "How are y'all feeling about my teams?"
Krusty, it sucks. Just kidding.
I would have this higher on my list as one of the teams that I like a little bit more. I think there's a lot of depth at wide receiver. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the first two running backs he had, and if Swift is your third, I think that's great. And then I think there is a lot of junk time to be had. You get Jalen Hurts in the 10th round.
I don't like that pick.
Yeah,
I think that's the main question mark for that team is Hurts.
Yeah, I don't like that pick at all. I'm not a fan of Jalen Hurts.
in the 10th round, though, like you're getting a quarterback that's going to eat up yards with his feet every week. He's the guy's going to rush for 40, 50 yards. It's
I'm not saying
basically an
it's a
extra
bad pick.
touchdown. Yeah.
I'm saying
Well, then
that's
he's gonna
the question mark.
He's going to throw two picks along with that. Like, I just don't think it's – I'm not a big fan of Jalen Hurts. I just don't think it's going to work out.
And a shot at like getting David Johnson in the 9th, like I think that
That's a good pick.
it's the 9th round and you're getting like he might not be what he was 3-4 years ago or whatever, but he's still going to get opportunity and he can catch the ball and he can run. And again, you're getting a guy that's probably going to be playing in a lot of games that are a team is just trying to stay healthy and get to the next week.
Yeah, and if this was like a real draft and there were a couple more rounds, I've been talking about this a bit, especially we premiered our first episode of Summer School last week on we hit running backs and we're going to be doing QBs, recording tomorrow, releasing on Wednesday. But with David Johnson, you have to handcuff Phillip Lindsay because I feel like Phillip Lindsay could flourish in a system where they're not going to be doing much in the air. I mean, with Tyrod Taylor, like what is he actually going to achieve like through the air with Brandon Cooks? You know, I mean, Brandon Cooks can blow up one game and then just kind of like basically sit on the bench another. But I honestly really like this team. I don't like Saquon, but everything else, like, let's see, even if you picked up Jonathan Taylor or reached for Cam Akers, I think this team would definitely be in the top 3, in my opinion. I'm really high on Robert Woods. I think he'll be the wide receiver 11 this year. Amari Cooper with Dak coming back, I think we'll have a bounce back year. DeAndre Swift, I'm a little iffy about, but if he can, I think he may be able to flourish a little bit in the Anthony Lynn system. But yeah, and there's the 1-2 punch of Hurts and Goddard. So I think it's a solid team. And Will Lutz, I probably would have went with a different kicker just because of the uncertainty. But you know, you can streamline all that.
Yeah, I would get a different kicker every week. Won't even matter. Here's something people will find out about me that if there's an available kicker on Monday Night Football, there's almost a guarantee that I'm going to drop whoever I have and pick him up. I love having the kicker on Monday night.
So Fantasy Flojo said the rushing floor for
this is Jalen Hurts.
They said the arm talent and efficiency are a question mark, but then they started getting into Barkley, and they were 7 was like that's a great value for Barkley, and they all agree. And Flojo said let the reports keep coming out and keep dropping Barkley in some drafts, and people are going to get some good value.
Yeah, here's the thing is that once these guys get on the field, if he can stay healthy and he gets out there and there's a little bit of tape on Saquon doing anything, just the hype on him and how excited people are, he won't go 8th in most. Right now in the mock is one thing, but in a couple months from now, in a couple weeks from now, when people are really getting into draft mode and the hype is real, you might still have your bias, but he's going to go somewhere top 5, top 6.
Like Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be there. Like, let's get down to brass tacks here. So, like, I mean, Saquon would have went, and you know, Alvin Kamara, I could see going after Saquon just for in some fantasy leagues, just with what people remember Saquon was before his injury. So I mean, I don't think he'll fall that much. Does that mean I think he's gonna do amazing this year? He could, but I just don't think he'll stay healthy.
See, I almost took Barkley at number 2. but I was like, you know what? I want to switch it up a little bit.
You like doing that though, like first overall pick Derrick Henry, so you know.
Hey, but at that point, I you know what? I probably still would. Like if these are just mock drafts, I try all kinds of new stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Like right now, if I was really on the clock for my number 1 pick, if I had the number 1 pick in my league, I still don't know who I'd take. I know it's down to those 3. Like I would say Barkley, CMC, and Henry would be the 3 in my head. But to tell you that who I would exactly pick, I can't tell you. I don't know.
I'm a diverse. I like to diversify my portfolio. So the more that it goes, the more leagues I'm in. If I already have Dalvin Cook in one league. If I get the number 1 pick in another league, I'm taking CMC, no question, because I already have Dalvin Cook. Because it crushes me when I have a player in the first round on several teams and that person gets injured, can't play, suspend, whatever it is. I had Kareem Hunt like a few years ago on like 3 teams. And when he couldn't play, it just destroyed I was so upset and angry. Like I just can't do it. So like any of those top guys I have, I just like the diversification. I never go all in on the first one.
I stay away from Cook. I don't know why. Something always drives me away from Cook. So these guys are like Cook has to be in your top 3. He's not in my top 3. I don't know why.
So Fantasy Flojo made a comment of who do I like? Well, be more specific. Are we talking about number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, or like number 80?
Well, I think just in general, I can't speak for Flojo, but for me, I would like to hear like who would you have just sort of real quick 1 through 8, 1 through 6 or whatever. Like what are your rankings? Like who are you drafting in that? And we'll say like a half point PPR situation.
Half point PPR?
Yeah.
Half point. I'd
go
probably
full point, whatever you feel most comfortable with giving.
Well, let's stick with half point. That's what you said first. I'd go McCaffrey with 1. I'd go Henry 2. I'd probably go Kamara 3, Cook 4, Zeke, Saquon, and then it's a toss-up between Chubb and Taylor.
Okay, so that's going to be confusing to people because you said you didn't like Saquon at 1.8, but you just said you had him at 6, right? And I know we're just kind of riffing off the top here. We take out Mahomes, that would put him at the 7 pick. So like Krusty still got him after. Like if you were in this, okay, so if you were in Krusty's position at the 8th pick of the first round, would you have passed on Saquon and gone Taylor or Akers?
Definitely not. I was just talking about his team as a whole.
Okay.
But you know, I have to retract a little bit and agree. It is great value for where he got him.
Okay.
Because you know, normally with my pick, I pick Zeke. A lot of I agree with Kevin. It's gold. It is 100%. But it was for me. It was between Saquon and Zeke for my pick. Just for the fact, I mean, because there's so much upside. You know, I talk smack about Barkley because I mean he's super injury prone. So like you're always going to be taking a risk. But so I went safe. I haven't mock draft with you guys in a couple weeks, so I really wanted to try to hit it on the head of the nail, so to speak. And I usually, you know, there's certain players like Chubb committee, Taylor. I don't care what Frank Reich says committee. I really like Akers, but at 6, I think that's too high personally. But I mean, yeah. So.
Yep. Yeah, I think Zeke to me is great value, is like tremendous value. Zeke to me is somebody that I would still consider taking anywhere in the top 3 because Dak's back and they're loaded and he's gonna it won't be like last season. There's going to be more room to eat. I think the offensive line will actually perform a little bit better this year too. So
Paging Dr. Robson. Paging
Wait.
Dr. Robson.
Hey,
Anytime
guys,
you want to hop in, Rob, you could hop in. Trust me, you can hop in and talk.
I gotta
I
hop
know.
off.
I'm just tired. It's been a long day.
Hold on. He's gonna
all
hop
right.
on. Stock caller's
I gotta
gonna
hop off, guys. I just wanted to answer Flojo. I wasn't gonna be like, oh, he's calling me out, and then I'm all right. See you later. Bye. I'm scared. But yeah, thanks so much for having me on. Thanks for the consistency of the mock draft Mondays. Look forward to next week. And remember one thing: fantasy is life.
There it is. Fantasy shot callers. Thank you for joining in
Stop
again
letting
this week.
scrubs in our mock draft. We did. Last week we had like 4 people on auto draft with a great guest from NFL Network and 4 people. So we got rid of Bear Clothing and they're not in here no more. Sorry, Bear Clothing will probably never sponsor us, but
it's so funny. All right, let's wrap this thing up because I know we got another show coming up here in a minute. Going to do a little bit of a roundtable, just sort of talking sports in general. I think this was another successful draft. I do have my 2 questions in my head. One, I want to ask Plug, because I saw Plug say that I wish that I was on here with you guys, which we can make that happen. And then
We can't.
Seven.
But Plug can't.
I want to ask Seven about the running back situation.
Seven's in. Or you want to ask him later?
Oh, no, it doesn't matter.
Seven's in the chat.
I know he's in the chat. I just wondered what the I wanted to know about the running back. The 49ers, you get 2 of them. Like, was there a thought of maybe some diversification here instead of investing into a backfield that we know to tend to be all over the place? Like, we could see Wayne Gallman take some carries if he gets the hot hand, and Sermon, Mostert, whoever's there. I'm here. Check. I just I'm looking around and I'm like, hey, there's some other players that he could have maybe drafted, but since he had Mostert, did he then feel like, okay, now I'm going to come back and I'm going to get Sermon just so I can have at least 2 of the 5 running backs that will all start a game for the 49ers this year for like the 4th season in a row.
And it also helped that he took Taylor and CEH early.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm curious about the on taking that backfield when to me there's more than just one. 7 in the house.
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen?
I'm loving this. Almost like a Cowardly Lion thing going on here. What's happening? This is the hoodie. There it is.
I'm working from home. I got a 10-minute break.
Love it. My question was about the
music. Let the glass shatter real quick so I can enter the chat real quick.
My question was about when you took Mostert, like you didn't, and then you went Sermon in the next round. You don't worry about that backfield and how there tends to be many people that kind of get their workload.
No, usually when there's a starter, there's only one starter.
Yeah.
So what I was doing was, pretty much almost taking like, who is that? The rookie, taking Javonte Williams and then getting Melvin Gordon and just locking up the backfield. That's more of a split, but Mostert's going to go down eventually. I hate to say that. We don't wish at Warzone or boot camp, we don't wish injury on anyone, but Mostert more than likely is going to fall at some point. I think they spent the draft capital on Sermon. So, that offense that zone run scheme works with anybody. So I just wanted to double up on the shares to make sure I had the running back no matter who it is. And it's not even my starter. It's a bench player. I got my 2 in I think Taylor in the 1st, and I didn't think Clyde Edwards going to fall there. But I took Clyde Edwards in the 3rd. So I have my RB1 and RB2, so they're not even starters.
Yeah, no, they're not. And it is a successful backfield to have. I would say let me ask this part. If it looks like Edmonds or Davis were off the board before Mostert, was Mostert still going to be the guy?
I wanted Davis in the 6th. I actually almost took him in the 5th, but I took Adam Thielen. Okay. And then Dak was there, and I just couldn't pass on Dak at 6. And I was really fingers crossed. I almost took him in the 5th, and Davis almost came to me in the 7th. And that would have been perfect, but someone took him before he made it back. I'm surprised he lasted that far. I think he's being really undervalued right now. I'm not saying that he's going to kill it, but he could finish as a strong RB2, maybe RB18, and he's not being drafted as RB18.
That's Mostert?
No, Mike Davis.
Mike I agree with that. When I saw Mike Davis coming through here and I wish that would have happened in the recent draft that I was just a part of. Like Mike Davis went in like the end of the 5th round or something like that.
Yeah, that's usually where he goes. Which even there, I think is a pretty good, really good value with so much opportunity. Overall, man, great draft. I'm going to try to hop on the live when I'm off work at 6:30, maybe tap in with the family a little bit, but talk some sports. But yeah.
Love it. Make sure to give plenty of shout outs for Chris Middleton because I won't be there, but we'll appreciate you. Have a good day, brother.
I will ride for Chris Middleton like I rode for Russell Wilson on Saturday.
Thank you. Love it.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Robson, any part? Do you have any drafts coming up that you're getting ready for? Anything you're?
Got my high school one, my alma mater one that I do for my high school. I am the defending 2-time champion in, hopefully to make it a 3-peat. And that's about the only one I got planned for. Don't know if we're going to do one here at the Warzone or not, but I assume we will. So I'll definitely be a part of that one.
Was this foreign language students only high school or what? Like they just don't understand the game or? Two-time champion.
This is me actually being decent at fantasy football, believe it or not.
I love it.
I know it's hard to believe me being good at anything because I'm a Jets fan.
It's not all because you're a Jets fan. It's because I know you too.
That's true.
Wow. Excellent. Let's wrap this thing up. Thank you, everybody who stopped by, everybody who participated. So many names. I'm not going to go through them all. Another successful mock draft Monday is in the books. We'll be back next Monday. We're getting closer and closer. 7 Sundays to go. Joe Morley, you got anything else you want to get in here before we get out?
Tune in, I would say in about an hour, around 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do a Welcome to the Warzone, and we're going to do a roundtable edition. So basically, we're going to sit there. If you have any topics, throw it out there. We'll talk about it. We'll just have a great time telling stories, talking sports, any sport that you guys want to talk about. So that comes up in about a little over an hour. We'll be there tomorrow. What do we have? Game 6 when the Suns come back to tie the series up at number 3. With Tony Tucker, you're going to be calling that game?
Yes, sir.
So Tony
Suns in 7.
Suns in 7.
Stop it.
Fel K will be there. I know that.
Got to say one thing before we log off here, and it's for you, Tony Tucker.
Cortland, what's going on? Yeah.
Tony Tucker.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I, myself, have been bashing the Milwaukee Bucks, who you have been prideful and rooting for throughout this entire postseason.
Yeah.
And now the Bucks have a 3-2 lead.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't messaged me one lick of trash talk. What the hell is wrong with you? Come on now, Tony Tucker.
Okay, let me get this out, Joe, before you cut me off. I state my opinions. I do not feel the need to go back and tell people when I'm right, because I know that you remember where I settled on that side of the conversation. I did not go back to find any Devin Booker fans who wanted to tell me about how amazing he was. I did not go back and find anybody who trashed Chris Middleton, and then he went out and had a 10-4 run against the Phoenix Suns. I don't feel the need. We have a conversation. You know where I stand. You know I was right. Here's the funny thing. People always come back and reach out to me to talk trash when they're right, and shortly then they will be wrong. And they know, and then it's quiet again. I don't put out any strong opinions with any sort of like lightly researched or whatever. Like I'll evaluate everything, and then I will speak on it, and I will be fair. If new information comes in, I allow myself to change. We'll have a whole new set of eyeballs to view Devin Booker with when everything ends, right? All of these, Robson, here's the other thing. I argued with several people about the point god, Chris Paul. What happened? Now the series is headed in the wrong way, and all those people were telling me he's top 2, he's top 3, he's definitely top 5. It's like, so if he loses the series and loses 4 straight in the NBA Finals, is that the same conversation they're going to be having? I don't need to go and back and remind them again. I don't need to talk trash.
All right, we won't get into basketball. That's for later on. Cortland,
Boring
I
ass
know you're on
man, Tony
Facebook.
Tucker.
Find us on YouTube. If you guys haven't found us, please find us on YouTube. That is our main thing, our main platform. So find us on YouTube. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and hit that notification button. Because sometimes we're on YouTube, but we're not on Facebook. We're on Twitch. We're on somewhere else. But we're always mainly on YouTube. So find us on there, guys. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Alex, as for the next show. Tony, always a pleasure, Tony.
Yes, sir.
We got anything else?
Nope. Let's play this great music, play this great track,
Oh,
and get out of
Alex,
here.
you got one more thing?
Nah, I don't.
No, we didn't have the first
Warning.
Get ready to rumble!